Hello and welcome to my truck. My name is Roy. I'm a home cook and amateur baker, and I'm here on this channel typically sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today is obviously not a recipe. I'm in the truck, so it's time for a truck talk. Now I did record one last week, well, part of one, but I just wasn't feeling it, so I ended up not uploading anything. I'm also a little stressed for time this week, so hopefully I can get everything done in time, because I am going away for a long weekend to the reservation up in Maine with my brother and sister and their kids, and I'm needing to get up there Thursday evening, so I have to try to get everything done before I do that. So next week, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing videos for the week or not. I haven't decided yet. I just don't deal well with time pressure, so I could never go on one of those cooking competitions or anything like that. Anything timed, I cannot deal with it. Part of the reason why I tend to do a lot of like one dish things or casseroles or what have you is because it makes me anxious trying to time everything so everything's done at the same time, so that one thing's not done long before the other things are done. I'm a mess. But I am on my way to the store, so I figured I would record something in case I am able to get this done. I'm trying to hurry to the store, pick up a few things, and then I'll record my video tonight for Friday so that I have plenty of time to edit it before I have to leave on Thursday. So we'll see how this goes. Now, since I missed a weigh-in last week, I owe you a double weigh-in, but it's actually kind of not a weigh-in at all, because 2 weeks before I lost 4.2 pounds. Over the last 2 weeks, I picked that 4.2 pounds back up, so I'm exactly the same as I was a month ago. Not exactly how I wanted it to work out, but like I said, I've just been feeling off mentally and physically. I seem to have been having a few more muscle and nerve issues than typical, so I don't know. And of course, as I said before, when I'm not feeling great, I tend to want to comfort myself with food, which is what I've been doing. So I've been trying to be good, trying to rein it in, and luckily for the most part during the day I'm fine. It's usually at night that I have the issue, so at least it's not all day that I'm going crazy. So I have that to focus on, but I don't know. I don't know what is going on. It's just I don't feel quite right. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm just kind of like, which was the word of the day the other day from Merriam-Webster, just kind of a malaise, like, kind of just that funk that I've been going through. But then I don't know if that mental aspect is also affecting my physical aspect, because the two do go pretty well hand in hand. But anyway, so I'm going to the store, going to pick up a few things for Paul for when I'm away, a few things for the recipe that I'm going to be doing on Friday, and then I don't know, I'm sure I will pick something else up. I'm going to Stop and Shop first, but I do want to go to Aldi, because Aldi almost always has the 96% ground beef, and that's what I'm going to be using in my recipe for the video. So I will be stopping at Aldi as well. So I'm sure I'll record the little grocery haul that I do. And somebody's just walking right in front of me like she doesn't even know that I exist. This giant truck that I'm in. Oh boy, I don't know. Anyway, I'm at the store, just parking. So let me get situated, get my shopping done, and I'll be back. All right, so I just left Aldi. They didn't have the 96% ground beef, but they had the 93, which is close enough. So I ended up getting that. Plus it was about $2, $1.50 a pound cheaper than it was at Stop and Shop. So I saved a little money there. But I'll show you all of what I got once I get home. Now, I know my pal Susan had asked, one of the things that I could talk about is maybe my nighttime routine. Honestly, I don't really have much of a nighttime routine. What usually happens is after dinner, we've watched something during dinner, and Paul goes to play his computer games, and I'm usually watching something that I've recorded that I'm interested in, like true crime, which Paul is not a fan of. And so I'll do that. I'll catch up on Outlander or whatever it is, any show that I happen to have available to me. Sometimes I will actually play a game on my PlayStation or Xbox. I don't do that as much as I used to, especially my dexterity is not that great, so playing for too long really does affect my arm muscles. So I don't do that very often. And then usually Paul comes out for a while to watch something that we've recorded for ourselves together. And then we are usually done, or sometimes if it's early enough, he'll go back in the office and I will stay there watching something or finishing something in case he had come out while I was watching something. And then I will just go into the office with him and sit on my computer for a little bit, going through emails, etc., etc. But we're both night owls, so I usually don't go to bed until 12, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. And just like my morning routine, which I think I may have mentioned before, I am not the type who just wakes up and can get out of bed. I'm not awake. So what I usually do is I get on my phone. If it's a Friday, I will share the thumbnail on social media so that people know that there's a new video out. Or usually I'm playing some silly phone game. And at night, I generally do the same thing to kind of unwind. Not that I've really wound up much during the day because I don't necessarily do a lot, but once I lay down, my body's starting to settle. I like to just lay there playing some games or going through social media or my YouTube comments, things like that. And I usually have the TV on at the same time, watching something like Family Guy or Modern Family or maybe The Golden Girls. So that's usually all I do to unwind at the end of the night. I don't really have like certain regimen I do for cleaning my face or brushing my teeth or what have you. I just brush my teeth, go to bed, play on the phone. So unfortunately, Susan, it's not that great of a routine. So that's all there is to that. And then somebody else had asked me about my favorite recipes of mine and those that I use most often. And I think the one I obviously use most often, and some of you may do the same, it's my light homemade cream cheese. I'm like always using that in some recipes. So I almost always have some in the refrigerator. Not always, there are times I do let it go, but typically that's probably the most popular one that I do personally. The second recipe, which is most popular because Paul really loves it, my pal Bree really loves it, is my mac and cheese steak. And I'll link these down in the description box so you don't have to hunt for them. But the mac and cheese steak, Paul really loves. Sometimes I'll do it with the cheesesteak. Sometimes I'll just use hamburger. It's the same basic thing. You can play around with any of my recipes. I do it all the time. I think the next one that immediately comes to mind is my blueberry cream cheese crumb bars. And again, I don't always do blueberries. Sometimes if they have strawberries on sale, I'll do it with strawberries instead. So I don't always do things in the exact way. I like to play with my food, which is how I've come up with a lot of my recipes. But I think that's probably my third favorite. I also really love the Snickerdoodles, the cake mix Snickerdoodles that I did as a Christmas video and got a special appearance from Santa in that one. But those have a nice chew to them. They have that cinnamon sugar taste on the outside, that little bit of crunch. So those I really like. This old man in front of me is staring at me in his rearview mirror trying to figure out who the hell I'm talking to. Little does he know. Next one is probably my sugar-free cake mix. So I have that on hand. I use that as the base for some of the recipes, like the banana split upside down cake that I came up with a couple of weeks back. So that's one I like to keep around. Also, I definitely do the chicken fried rice all the time. Not weekly, but maybe every other week I'll make the chicken stir fry. The one problem, and this kind of irritates Paul a little bit, is that I'm so busy trying to come up with new recipes that I don't often do the older ones as frequently as I could. And a lot of the time, honestly, I'm just throwing things together that I have in the fridge. I had actually thought that one time I could maybe do like a live video somehow of me just looking in the fridge, seeing what's in there, and coming up with something on the fly so you can see what I might do. Honestly, I never meal prep and I very seldom meal plan, which does cause me stress sometimes, and I'm an anxious person, so it's probably not the smartest idea. Wouldn't be the first time I did things that weren't the smartest idea. I also really like the whiskey chicken. It has a nice, like, almost syrupy kind of glaze on it. That's another recipe I really enjoy, and Paul does too. I don't do any recipes that he doesn't enjoy as well. I mean, I've done some he has not been a fan of. But I usually rework it. If I don't scrap it entirely, typically I will rework it until he likes it. Once Paul likes it, and it's Paul approved, I know it's ready to share on the channel. So any of the recipes that you've seen, Paul, who is not doing WW healthy or anything like that, if he approves of it, I'll share it on the channel. If he doesn't, I'll keep working on it until he does. So that's one problem with having repeat recipes, but it is nice to have them on hand to know, oh, I can whip this up. Like, I'll keep the can of cheese for the mac and cheese on hand just in case I'm in the mood to just whip something together. But as far as the idea about just going through my refrigerator and cupboards and coming up with a recipe on camera, if I pre-recorded it, it would probably seem like I had planned it. If I did it live, I mean, it could also seem like I planned it. But I'd also have to make sure Paul was willing and able to help me out by reading comments if I were doing it live, because I would not be able to keep up with cooking and reading comments at the same time. And I don't know if I would be able to get him to do that or not. So, because typically when I'd be recording, especially if I were doing a live to make, say, dinner, he's working. He works until 6, and usually I try to have dinner ready for 6. So that might be a little bit of a challenge. I suppose I could have my grandson Brian do it for me, and he was in a video this past week with me during the tag, so that is a possibility. I didn't think about that before. But again, how do you know I didn't just say, oh, I just happen to have this on hand, I don't know what's in the fridge? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would really be doing it on the fly, but how do you really know? I mean, how do you really know? I know, but how do you really know? Anyway, I am almost home, so I'm going to end this here, and I will be back in just a second to show you my grocery haul. It's a small one, so don't get too excited. Okay, for the groceries, I got another 10 pounds of ice because guess who still has not called Samsung about our ice maker not working? This guy. I got some Almond Breeze almond milk. I got the unsweetened original. As I've mentioned before, I don't care if I get the vanilla or the original. They both taste pretty much the same. I got a small container of the Fie Zero. That's the one I prefer to use, but I will use others. At Aldi, I got some cooking spray that I needed, and it was much cheaper, like half the price of what I would have paid at Stop and Shop. And there's the lean ground beef that I got for the recipe this week. As I said, I couldn't get the 96%, so I got the 93. I'll throw it into the recipe and make sure it's not going to affect the bites or points too much. I don't think it will, since they're very close in number. Here I got some egg noodles, again for the recipe that I am doing for Friday's video. I got some broccoli crowns. I always get the crowns because we don't usually eat the stalks. I know that they're great, but we usually don't eat them. We prefer just the florets. And I'm going to use the broccoli in this week's video because the first time I made it with some frozen peas. Paul suggested maybe he'd like to try it with some broccoli, so I'm going to do it with broccoli this time. I found this True Lemon Lemonade strawberry flavored. I haven't tried it before, but I always use these kind of mixes in my water. Well, almost always, but it helps me to get my water in. Then I got some fat-free cheese singles, and this is the Stop and Shop brand. I was telling my friend Ro about them. She lives out in New York where they also have Stop and Shop, but she said that they didn't have it. But look how hard it is to distinguish that fat-free from the rest of it. They should really make that a different color or something, because you really have to look to make sure you're getting the right one. But it used to be about $5.99, $4.99. Now they've reduced them to $2.49, so half price. So I definitely like getting those. Here I got some tomato paste. I think I have enough in the fridge for this week's recipe, but just in case. I got some little grape tomatoes here because we're gonna have some salads before I leave. I got a pack of salad so I don't have to make it. Plus I have some lettuce already in the fridge. Some baby carrots because it's usually what I use, usually what I have on hand. I got 2 cans of this Progresso Chicorina soup. That's Paul's favorite, and while I'm away, that's way he has something he can just heat up. I found some Polana sugar-free with fiber strawberry preserves. I have not tried those before, but they are the same bites and points as the Smuckers, but it was like $1.20 cheaper, so I figured I'd try that. I got some Starkist solid white albacore tuna in water for Paul. If you know me, you know I'm not touching that. I will make it for him, but I'm not eating it. Got some bananas, some strawberries, and some blueberries for our typical morning yogurt. And finally, I got a couple of peaches. They were on sale for $1.77 a pound, and I haven't had any peaches yet this season. So there is my little grocery haul. And now I have to hurry up, get this all put away, and start working on the video for Friday so I have all of that recorded. I can edit everything and hopefully get all of these out. As I said, I'm not sure if I will be posting videos next week or not. I don't want to pressure myself after an extra long weekend, so I may or may not. But I am recording things at the reservation because it's a big Indian Day celebration. It's basically a powwow. So I am going to record some of what's going on up there. And I will be sharing that with you, if not next week, the week after, as part of the truck chat probably. And I think that's about it. So let me put this stuff away, go get another video recorded, do some editing, get up to Maine. A lot going on. So if you wouldn't mind doing the usual, like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video. Also, check out the description box for those videos I mentioned and all sorts of information like my Amazon storefront, my Built Bar rewards, Fish rewards, and my social media, both my Instagram and 3 Facebook groups that I'm part of. So go check out the description box. And until next time, bye.